welcome to Click with JFCS. I'm Drew Gold, the kitchen manager and educator, and I also love to grow my own food, so I thought today I would show you how to plant starts and seeds. Today I will demonstrate using celery starts, which are just a plant that has been started indoors, and some arugula seeds. When planting starts or seeds, there's a few things to consider. When is the best time to plant them? And then how much sun, space, and water will your plants need? There's a few great places to find this information, either on the seed packet you're planting from, sometimes on the tag in front of the start you might buy, or the Old Farmer's Almanac website has a great chart for it, as does High Mowing Seeds and the Penn State Extension. So today we're going to plant this celery start, and so once again it's been started indoors, and so the first thing that I did was I hardened it off, which means I left it outside for 2 or 3 nights so that I could acclimate to the outdoor temperature before also going through the shock of being planted into the ground. So the next thing I'm going to do is prepare my soil. So I'm going to break up my soil just around where I'm going to plant, and I try to envision that I'm giving space for the roots to grow out and be able to gather nutrients and water through the soil. And I have the same kind of thought about my seeds. I'm trying to make sure that the soil is loose and has enough kind of space to make it easier for my seed to also grow both up and out. So now I'm ready to plant my celery. First of all, I've prepared my soil so you can see it's nice and loose like we just talked about. I've also looked up that my celery plants want to be 7 inches apart, and one trick to measuring in the garden is to measure different parts of your hands so you can use those to measure. So I know that from my thumb to my pinky, like this, is 7 inches. So I'm going to use my hand for the spacing of my plants. So next I'm going to dig 3 holes because I have 3 celery plants 7 inches apart. So I'm going to dig my first one right here, and I'm making sure it's deep enough to fully submerge the roots of my plant. And then I'm going to measure my 7 inches, and I'm going to do my next one. And I'm going to do these in a nice triangle because I don't quite have enough space. I'm going to do the next one right here. So when I plant my plant, I want to gently remove it from its pot. And I want to break up the roots. So sometimes you'll get plants where you'll see that, that they're root bound, that the roots are really tight, and you can break up those roots, so giving them once again an easier time to kind of reach out and access those water and nutrients in the soil. So I'm going to put this guy in the ground, and I'm going to pat the soil around it to make sure it's in there nice and secure. So now we're ready to plant our arugula seeds, and I've looked up that my arugula seeds want to be planted 1 inch apart, which I know is about the width of my thumb. And because they're so close, I'm actually just going to dig just a very long shallow trench. They only need to be about a 1/4 inch under the soil, and I'm going to plant each of my seeds 1 inch apart. So I have my shallow trench here, and I'm just going to put down my first seed and then measure my thumb, and I'm just going to plant each of them about 1 inch apart for some lovely arugula. So now that my seeds are laid out in my shallow trenches, I'm going to be sure to mark them. So I just found a couple of sticks around my garden, and I'm going to put one at the beginning and end of each row. And then I'm going to just gently sweep the soil over my seeds. And that is planting them, just sweeping it over. So it just really needs to be a 1/4 inch under. So a lot of bigger seeds will need to be deeper, and smaller seeds need to be planted shallower. So arugula seeds are quite small, so they just need a little soil on top of them. So now all of our plants are planted, and Lev here is going to help us water them in. So I have a watering can that'll have a gentle stream. Lev, can we show them? It'll be like this. And you want to think about your plants and your seeds as having just done a lot of work. So we want them to give them a good drink this first time around. And so we're going to water everybody in really well. Thank you, Lev. So now that our plants are in the ground, we're going to water them every day for 7 to 10 days. And then every 3 or 4 days after that, really depending on how sunny and hot it is where you are and how dried out your soil is getting. I prefer to water first thing in the morning or in the early evening, which gives the water more time to kind of go through the soil into the plants before the sun eats it up.